Hi, Teepen here, and today we talk about boomerangs. Now, when I talk about boomerangs, I'm not talking about the 1992 film Boomerang. I'm talking about this object that you throw that when you throw it will return right back to you. But before I get into the physics of how these boomerangs work, let me talk about the basics. First is lift. When a wing of an airplane or any other body is flying through the air, there will be a formation of high pressure on the bottom and low pressure on top. And that high pressure air will want to move to the low pressure air. Therefore, what it will do is push that wing or body up, producing lift. This idea that high pressure moving to low pressure, this is the same concept that makes sailboats sail, airplanes fly, and boomerangs return. This concept is known as Bernoulli's law. The second thing is known as gyroscopic precession. So gyroscopic precession, this is going to seem a little bit like black magic, but it's not. What happens is when you have a spinning disc and you are trying to turn the spinning disc over, it doesn't want to just turn over. Because it's already spinning one way, trying to get it to move another way, well, it doesn't like that. So what happens is when you are trying to take this spinning disc and turn it over, it will want to precess around. You can see this analogy very well famously through a tire experiment where they try hanging a tire by a string and spinning it, and you'll notice it doesn't fall, but it spins around. Now with these two basics in mind, let's talk about boomerangs. So first off, what is a boomerang? Well, you see, a boomerang looks kind of like an airplane, but without the main fuselage. It just looks like two wings. This helps with that lift we talk about. Typically, boomerangs, now not always, but they have an airfoil to them, which helps them produce lift. Now, when you throw a boomerang, you typically throw it with some kind of curve. You'll take your boomerang and you'll throw it, putting a spin on the boomerang. Now what happens is, when you throw the boomerang, it has some velocity to it. It already has some speed. And when you put a spin on that boomerang, you're creating a sense that one side is moving faster than the other. Because when it's spinning and moving, the one side will be moving faster since it's adding to the velocity, and the other side will be moving slower since it's taking away from velocity. And what this causes is an uneven distribution of lift. The faster side will produce more lift, and the slower side will produce less lift, and what will happen is that boomerang wants to turn over. And just like we talked about with gyroscopic precession, that boomerang, it makes a spinning disc. And when you try taking the spinning disc and flipping it over, in the boomerang's case due to uneven lift, then what you end up with is a gyroscopic precession where the boomerang will turn and start to precess around. And this is exactly what you see when the boomerang starts turning and coming back to you. That's this gyroscopic precession that is turning the boomerang. And that's exactly what you see when the boomerang turns around and comes right back to you. Okay, let's recap what we've learned. So first off, we learned about lift. You have an uneven distribution of pressure that causes a force on the body, producing lift. Then we learned about gyroscopic precession. The idea of turning over a spinning disc will cause it to precess around. These two postulates form a boomerang and explain why the boomerang returns back to you. And with that, my name is Teepen. Feel free to check me out on social media or subscribe to my channel. Peace out.